Much of the Fulton County election interference case deals with the so-called fake elector scheme, sending a Trump slate of electors to Washington in hopes that Vice President Mike Pence could be pressured to choose them rather than the certified Biden elector.
But supporters argue those under indictment were just following what the state of Hawaii did 60 years earlier. Fox IR team reporter Randy Travis says there are some big differences here, Randy.
There are, Christina Rush. Yeah, two close elections, 6 decades apart. Did what happened in Hawaii allow Georgia to do the same? Well, we found 3 big differences.
Beginning in Hawaii in the sunny first weeks of September.
Number 1, secrecy. Hawaii's first presidential election as a state was a nail-biter, so close that the governor first certified Richard Nixon as the winner over John Kennedy by 141 votes.
The whole country begins to await the results.
Both parties decided to send their own slate of electors to Congress. They did it openly.
But Trump electors originally tried to keep it a secret. They met in this room on December 14th, 2020, hoping no one would even know why they were here.
According to this week's indictment, then state GOP chairman David Schaefer organized the meeting. He sent a text to individual 4. Listen, tell them to go straight to room 216 to avoid drawing attention to what we are doing. Robert Sinners, the Trump campaign Georgia director for Election Day operations, sent this email to the alternate electors asking for their complete discretion. At no point should you mention anything to do with presidential electors or speak to the media. The meeting was only exposed after independent news commentator George Cheedy poked his head through the door.
I say it's an education meeting, and it was plainly not an education meeting.
Sinners eventually testified to the January 6th committee and before the Fulton County Special Purpose Grand Jury.
I don't know if at the time that had been the kind of shadow, if you will, strategy, and we were just, kind of useful idiots or rubes at that point.
How did that make you feel about your having been involved in the alternate electors meeting in Georgia?
I was ashamed.
What they did was a little different than Hawaii in that they, like I said, scheme and planned this without the public's knowledge.
Number 2, recounts. Hawaii had not finished a partial recount by the time both parties decided to choose their electors. But on the day Trump electors met, Georgia had already counted its ballots not once, but 3 times. At the end of each, Joe Biden was still the winner. Number 3, no false allegations of fraud. Neither party suggested wrongdoing in the Hawaii vote count. In Georgia, Trump lawsuits have been routinely dismissed for lack of evidence or standing. 2 appeals were pending before the U.S. Supreme Court at the time Schaefer gathered his electors.
Because the president's lawsuit contesting the Georgia election has not been decided or even heard, we held this meeting to preserve his rights. Had we not held the meeting, then his lawsuit would effectively be mooted.
Both Trump lawsuits were dismissed by the Supreme Court. Hawaii's governor eventually certified Kennedy as the state's choice. And that's whose slate of electors was chosen by the man who had finished second, then Vice President Richard Nixon.
Expect the Hawaii precedent to be mentioned a lot when the Trump electors file motions to get their indictments dismissed. And speaking of motions, we just got one late this afternoon from the attorney for Jeffrey Clark, one of the 19 defendants. He is opposing the aggressive proposed scheduling order by Fani Willis, saying that it could be interpreted as an attempt to stake out a place at the head of the line of prosecutors seeking the prize of trying the former president before the 2024 presidential election. As you know, she wants to have arraignments the first week of September and actually try all 19 of them in March. But so far, a judge has not agreed with her on that.
And with all these defendants, a lot of them are going to come back with some sort of argument as to why that can't happen.
The first of maybe 19 motions.
Right, exactly.
Also interesting to point out that Robert Sinners, who we heard say he was ashamed of his role as a Trump operative in this fake elector scheme, his conversion is so complete that he is now the director of communications for Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
Yeah, someone who was opposed to Donald Trump, or Donald Trump's enemy number one, perhaps, here in Georgia. Yeah, irony abounds here, doesn't it?
It's amazing.
Randy, thank you so much.
Okay.
This is a developing story, so stay with Fox 5 on air and online as we continue to learn more. Be sure to download the Fox 5 Atlanta app for all the latest breaking news alerts and updates. It is free to download in your app store.